puppets, won't you walk with me? I'm the puppet dog.
Hi there, welcome to the Animal Intuitive channel. I'm Angelo Webb, the Animal Intuitive, and here we talk about all things having to do with anything to support animals and their pet parent humans. So that would be animal communication, which I've been doing for about 20 years professionally, and anything holistic. We do interviews, we do demonstrations here, and most of all, we have a wonderful community. So I'm so happy that you're here, whether you're in the replay watching or in the chat. And I just want to say hi to people like Mel Mack in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. It's good to see you. Um, and tonight, or today, I guess, I'd like to talk about something that I think really applies to a lot of people who are interested in developing and deepening the bonds that they have with their pets, but they feel like they have this kind of block to being able to go deeper with things like animal communication. And the reason I want to talk to you about this tonight is because I've had a couple of recent conversations with people just sort of randomly that, in life that I've encountered, like at the dentist office, for instance, who they find out what I do and then they talk about how they think it would be so great to be able to do this and to be able to really communicate with their animal and understand what their animal's thinking and feeling. But then they say, but I can't do that. So I feel like that's a lot of people. So I wanted to just do, sort of, this isn't going to be a too long of an episode. People feel free to, if you're in the chat, to ask questions. And you can also always leave me questions in the comment section. And I love your comments. And I love to answer them and connect with you. So what I've really found is that, so in talking to these two particular individuals, one of them was talking about how she feels like she could communicate with animals. She's in a field that would relate to that to some degree. But she says, I can't do it though. I don't feel like I'm in a place to be able to do it. And then this other person said that they felt like they would like to do it, but they just feel like their energy is too kind of wild, is how they put it. And by that, I just kind of understood she meant like they feel like they're too like hyper up in their head, that type of thing. But what was really interesting was that, the first person is in a field of work that I think would be great to prepare somebody to communicate with animals. Kind of don't want to say specifics, but I think that, people who are relating to other people on an energetic level, let's just say. But you don't have to be doing that. Let me just really emphasize that. And the other person then went on to say that they had spent the day at the beach yesterday and it was wonderful, and they were meditating, and it was so great to meditate and sit and be still, and how they've been doing these breath work classes and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, well, I said to her, why don't you go hop on my website? I have on my Animal Intuitive Academy, I have all these classes, and I have a free class. It's an intro class to animal communication. And she kind of just, like, I could sense from her energy, she kind of froze. And it was like, she's like, well, I just don't think I could do that. I don't think I have the right energy. That's when she said she was too wild for it. So I thought that was interesting. I didn't really press it, and it wasn't really a good time to get into it. We're working on my teeth, so but it really got me thinking. This is really interesting that people think they can't do this to this level, but yet they're meditating, meditation is a key component to preparing to do animal communication. And, that's why I incorporate it into all of my classes, and I have meditations in all of my class for people to follow. I have it in the free class. And I also have a free one on my website that's just audio as well that you can download. So what is this about? And I thought, well, I'm going to talk to my pets and see, and other animals, and think about things I've learned through the years as an animal communicator, what it is that the animals perceive to be the blocks to animal communication. So, oh, thank you. Yeah, we did a lot with the studio. I have to give a lot of credit to my husband and say thank you, because this was a lot of him. Actually, I did not, hang that sign and many other things. So I really appreciate that. And yes, I have a big library. This is my 135th show. So if you want to go back and watch shows about learning to communicate with animals or do animal acupressure, massage, interviews with people who are experts, things talking about, all the different things that go along with that and ways we can help our animals, go through the libraries and check those out. So, uh, all right. So I talked to my pets, and there were several little pointers that came along as I talked to them. And animals, first of all, want us very much from the start, they want us to know that this is a safe place. When you communicate with animals, you're in a really good energy. Animals are not judging us. They just want that connection, and they love it so much, that they appreciate it so much, that they're not like thinking, "Oh, why can't she get this?" Or, if you're practicing with a friend's pet, for instance, and you're trying out animal communication and you want some like feedback, it's really, the animal is there to help you. They want to give us that support, and they want us to be talking to them. So please remember that when you go in to speak with animals, to understand what they're thinking and feeling, to receive information from them, that they really are so encouraging. And it's actually one of the most relaxing things and safest places you'll be, because animals aren't like sometimes humans can be. You just don't have to worry about that. So it's really worth, they say, this is point number 2. It's really worth taking the risk of possibly not being 100% right about every single piece of information that you get from us, to just sit and be with us. We just want you to connect in with us. And there really is no wrong. When you're just trying to learn something and understand it better, it's not about right and wrong. I mean, yes, it helps when you're trying to hone a practice and you really want to get better at it, to get feedback. And that's why I encourage, in my classes, I have group classes and I do private classes. And so we're giving feedback, but it's all about supporting each other and being understanding and compassionate, and understanding that you probably will make some mistakes as you're learning to do this. And, I would even venture to say that I've been doing this professionally over 20 years. I remember doing it as a little child, but, professionally, I really started doing it about 20 years ago. And it's my job to get things right. But I will even say, just like any other business, any other profession, nobody is 100% perfect. You're not always going to get everything right. It's a matter of fine tuning and adjusting. So if something is a little bit off, take a step back. I teach people, and just kind of recenter and go for it again. And you get better and better at it. So it's less and less as time goes on. Okay, so they also just want to say that we love you and we want to help and encourage you. Take some time that you need. Really give yourself the time to do this. Feel like you can take an hour on a Saturday, for instance. I'm so glad that everybody's here taking this time to talk about this. And also, by the way, if you know people who might be interested, please do share this. There's a lot of people out there who don't even know what this is. They haven't really, connected the dots, that they feel like they completely understand their pet, and these interesting things happen where they understand that, all of a sudden they pop up, I think my dog needs to go out, and the dog has not come in the room and told them, but they take the dog out and the dog had to go out. Little things like that are signs of animal communication that get sort of glossed over and passed by every day, because it's just how our society is, and for the most part. So the animals say we need you to be in tune to us, because there's things that affect us in the environment, things that we take in, like food, supplements, medicines. And, while I always want to mention that I am not a vet and I cannot diagnose or treat animals, animal communication is about really tuning in with our pet and just understanding how they're feeling about whatever it is that they're ingesting or is around them, or people they're coming in contact with, just how they're feeling and how they're thinking. So they're asking us to just connect in with them and just get a sense of what feels good or doesn't feel good. It doesn't have to be this big, long conversation. And I think that's what a lot of times people sort of get stuck with, because they think has to be this intricate thing where they're hearing all this information, and it doesn't always. They say that we're just sending a ball and we're bouncing that little ball over to you. And even if you just kind of notice a feeling, you notice that something, I don't sense that agrees with my pet. Maybe you're not even sure why, but they would like you to do that so that they can have sort of that voice. That's what this show is about, giving animals a voice. And they say it's the most loving thing that we can do. So don't have these high expectations they're asking. It just all comes from love. That's all where, if you start with love and you start with compassion and you start with empathy, that's the best place you can be. And when I asked Kane, he's my German Shepherd, he says that sometimes he's just watching me and he's picking up on what's going on with me. So he's mentioning that is an opportunity for us, that we can tune in with them and see what they're noticing about us, and they want to share those things with us. So he might be noticing that, I've seen him staring at me, and I'm in the middle of working and I'm really hyper focused on something and maybe getting a little bit stressed out even, and I look over and he's staring at me, and I'm noticing that, hey, maybe I need noticing that and thinking to myself, well, what's going on? So I tune in with him, and I'm realizing, even just in tuning in with him, how high up in my head I've been, how not grounded enough I'm being, which isn't healthy for me. It's not actually good for him. There's some interesting studies even about how we give off cortisol, and other people pick up our cortisol, so the stress hormone. So being mindful of that is really great. Our animals can help us to be more aware of that, because of course we don't want to be putting that on them. And that isn't to say, again, this isn't about judgment. We all have these things going on. Life is stressful sometimes, and it's not about being perfect, but the animals are here to help us with that. So they really want to emphasize that we can help you if you'll just listen. And they also want us to know that, life is short. And if you sort of come up with all these reasons why you shouldn't be doing this, why you can't be doing this right now, why it's not a good time, it's unfortunate, because you're going to miss potentially some important things. So it's kind of about just jumping in and taking the time and giving yourself the time to try it and just see how it goes, and not feeling like it has to be exact, like 100% perfect. And, that's why I have these things that are available to you. I've really developed, some things that I don't charge for, that are free, because this is part of my life journey, is helping other people to be able to do this. And I understand that for some people, it's somewhat foreign to them, or maybe they even don't believe in it, but there's a part of them that's saying, I would like it to be real, and so maybe I'm willing to even open myself up a little bit to it. And I do that for the animals. I want the animals to have a way for their people to be able to start somewhere. And so that's why I have a couple of things that are free, like my free audio meditation. You can get that on my website, which I really appreciate. Mel Mack, she put it up here, intuitivetouchanimalcare.com. You can go there for everything. So you can go there and check out the free audio. It's on the front page of my website, if you just scroll down. And it also leads to my classes website. And on my classes website, which is right now on another site because it's too big, it's an academy, so it's too much to be on my personal website, so it's on another site, which I don't know if it'll always be there. So the best thing is to go through intuitivetouchanimalcare.com, go to the classes page and just click the link, and it'll take you there. And there I have a free intro class. It's a nice long class too. It's not just a few minutes. And you can get into it there. There's meditation. It gets you started with the basics. But I also have some, group classes. For instance, I have one coming up in about a month on November 3rd and 4th. It's a live online class, and that's an intro class. And then in January, I have a level 2 class to follow up on that coming up. And I also have private classes, which takes you up to level 3. You can get certified. And then also I have I have a paying, but a reasonably priced for what it is. It's a nice full class, a digital class that you can start right now. And it's animal communication. It's also acupressure for you and your pet. And it's about relaxing and getting grounded. And I'd show you a preview of that, but it looks like I forgot to bring it up here. So just go to that site and check that out if you're interested in that. So I wonder if anybody has any questions. Yes, energy is everything. My Joe picks up on my energy. That's your dog, right? When I was stuck in the moment, he reminds me with a slight whine. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, they do. They pick up on everything. And I love it that you're so attuned to him that that little whine is him trying to nudge you. They have these little ways of getting through to us. They learn what's going to work to get through to us when we're getting stuck or our energy's not in the best place. And they really are, they're like little gifts that we're blessed with, really, to have them in our lives because they can help us with so many things. So I think that's really pretty much it. I know this hasn't been a very long one. If there aren't any questions, yeah, and if you want to go straight to my academy, this is it, Animal Intuitive Academy.podia.com. But as I said, I don't know if I'll always be there, so I like to give out my main website because everything will always be findable there. And then I also do private consultations too, and that's on my main website, and acupressure massage for people who are local. So I think just keep all of this in mind, that animals are so compassionate and so willing to teach us and to share with us. They're our greatest teachers, and we're so lucky to have them, and don't waste this time where you could be diving in and communicating with them and understanding them better and letting them help you understand even yourself better, potentially. So, so Good Night Owl says, my Contessa does that too. She also is a German Shepherd, we love German Shepherds. I think they have an extra strong sixth sense over most breeds. Contessa recently celebrated her 13th birthday. Oh, happy birthday, Contessa. That's wonderful. Oh, I'm so glad that you signed up, Judy Ann. I think I saw that. You did that recently. Thank you so much for signing up. That's great. I think you said the free class. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought of it. And that's interesting, the comment about German Shepherds. I thought about doing a show about that because there's something about a German Shepherd, and I don't want to ever say that one animal that we're going to understand better, one pet over another because of a breed. However, I do have to say that there is something about German Shepherds. They're so tuned in. I think part of it just has to do with the way that they've been bred to be working dogs and to be with people, assisting people. And it's developed over the years to where it has become a bit of a deeper, they're so in tune that it also enhances that other level, that what we call telepathic animal communication. And it is noticeable. If you live with one or you're around one, they are just hyper in tune, most of them, I would say. I don't know every German Shepherd, but I know for sure mine is. And animals that I communicate with for my clients and people who are students who have German Shepherds talk about it. It's really pretty cool. They're really wonderful. I love German Shepherds. So yeah, I thank you for sharing that, and happy birthday to Contessa too. So we had some birthdays recently here. I had a birthday recently, actually, in September. So I don't see any other questions, but or or comments. But again, if you're watching us on the replay and you have any questions, and you know, just put them in the comment section, and I always read everyone's comments. And yeah, a better judge of people than we are. A lot of times they are, yeah, definitely. You can know a lot about, or you can get a sense of a person as somebody that, you know, maybe you should, you know, be asking some questions, or trying to get to know them a little bit more before you get more involved with somebody, or, you know, whether it's a friend or otherwise, depending on how our animals react to them. And yeah, German Shepherds, I would say, have a great quality for that. I have found that myself. Yeah. So, and cats too. Cats and other animals, well, it's not just dogs and cats, horses, you know, just animals in general, they're picking up on energy. So, you know, if someone's energy is concerning to them, doesn't feel right, they're going to show it. Animals don't lie. So that's one of the wonderful things about being around them and learning from them. They're honest, but they're also compassionately honest, which is, oh, thank you so much. Thank you for the birthday wishes. They are compassionately honest with us. And that's how I model how I teach, is after the animals, is to be compassionate and helping people. And, you know, you get something off, well, fine, let's figure out what maybe made you miss that, where blocks are for you as an individual. And that's how we talk about it in groups too. Yeah. Yeah, we had a nice night out last Saturday. We went into the city and saw a play, so that was really fun. I posted it on my YouTube channel. I love murder mysteries, and it was called The Perfect Crime, and it's a very long-standing. I guess it's considered off-Broadway at this point. I guess it's right in that area in Manhattan, and it was a great show. So we have a lot of murder mystery people on here. We found a connection for some reason that a lot of people who love true crime and crime are also animal people. My sister really thinks an owl who comes daily is communicating with her. Hey, it's quite possible, especially if the owl is coming daily. That's really cool. She should take my class and communicate with the owl. I'd love to hear how that goes. That would be fantastic. Because this isn't just for our pets. This is also animals in the wild we can communicate telepathically with. It's fantastic to do that. Oh, Joe is a mutt, but the vet says he has Shep in him. Yeah, I actually found out some things about my pets. I did some DNA testing recently. I redid my dogs. I'm thinking about doing a show on it, so I don't want to say too much, but it's really fascinating what you find out when you do the DNA testing, and I think it's gotten much better. I had done DNA testing on my dog. I think it was with Wisdom Panel when she was really young, like baby puppy, first year of life, and then I just did it again, and she just turned 10 in July, and had her gotcha day on the day before my birthday, on the 29th was her gotcha day, and I decided to redo it, and it was interesting to compare the two. Some things were the same, some things weren't. So yeah, owls are messengers, so that makes sense. And how interesting that you are good night owl saying that. That's very cool. Definitely use this to talk to animals in the wild. That's a wonderful experience. Deer, reptiles, birds, anything at all. Oh, you were interested in doing the DNA on pets. What, did you have a question about it? I'm not sure if I can answer it. I will. I don't know how in depth it is. I know a little bit, but we're looking forward to sharing on a show. Okay, yeah, I will. I'll definitely do that. I think it's fascinating stuff. So, absolutely. Okay. Well, we can definitely do that. I'd also love to have it maybe a show where people, you know, let me know ahead, or be in the chat if people have results from their DNA, and just let us know in the chat what your experiences were. We can talk about it. Yeah, I remember Joe being on here, definitely. He looked like a GSD, yeah. He did. He is a handsome boy. Yep. Very cool. So, all right. Well, I have some, just to let you know, I did switch things around in my format. I do have some interviews coming up. I just haven't put them in the dates yet. People are trying to figure stuff out. I feel like everyone's kind of gotten a late start this fall. I know I have. I've gotten really held up with a lot of things that I kind of started and then things got delayed. So that's made it more difficult for me to be here. But I have some interviews coming up, just haven't scheduled them. So that, and then that's a great idea. That'll be fun to do a show on the DNA stuff. And yeah, and I have a new website that I had it started in, it actually was posted in June, but I didn't mention it because it wasn't really, there were a few things I needed to do after the web designer did it, and I'm still dealing with some things that weren't done quite right. So unfortunately, that happens a lot when you hire people to do things. So, I'm not sure if I'm going to be on, I won't be on next week. I actually have some relatives coming that I want to be able to see. So I'm probably not going to be here next week. And then, I'm waiting to see when these other guests are going to be on. For one, we're probably going to have back on, sorry, I just blanked. John Kelly Profiler, who was on this summer, and people really liked. So for those who are interested, yeah, I wouldn't say it's under construct. It's actually done now. It's done, except that unfortunately, I'm trying to figure something out. I have 10 years of blogs, and the web designer did not bring over the pictures that went with the 10 years of blogging. So it's actually been a really difficult thing for me because I really poured my heart and soul up for years into writing this blog, and it does not look like I'm going to be able to retrieve the pictures that went in the blog, which kind of make blogs more readable. So it was really sad to see that happened, and I didn't realize it until after the site was already done. For a few reasons, because of the way it looked. It's a long story, but when it finally posted, the pictures were gone. So that's been a bit of a grieving process for me, because it goes back a long way, and it's kind of tracks my half of my career doing this, and it's a lot of things that were important to me. So it's, the blog is on there, the text is there, but the pictures aren't there. So, but the website's up with all of the stuff I do. I really needed to, I also do some integrative coaching for humans. I do hypnosis and something called brain spotting to help people get through blocks, and especially with performance, including people who do animal communication. And those pages had to be kind of like, I had to add to that. So, but it's all up there now. So check it out. I'd love to hear your feedback about it. It was a big change from my old site. So that really put things off. Yeah, no, unfortunately, those got lost or deleted, so there's no backups of those. So it's kind of sad. You kind of just have to move on, I guess. There's nothing much I can do about it. But yeah, very disappointing. So it happens a lot. Getting a good web designer is not easy. There's a lot of horror stories, so such is life. Things happen. Staying in the present, that's the lesson, right? So, all right. Well, and as I said, we had asked on the last time John Kelly Profiler was on if people had questions. We got a couple of questions for him. So he's a criminal profiler, and you're wondering, well, what is that? If you're new here, what the heck does that have to do with the show with animals? But he's very interested in animal advocacy. He's done fostering of animals, and he had profiled somebody in Canada who was doing things to animals that were not good. And the point of that is that there's been a lot of cases, like criminal cases, where animals are there, and a lot of, thank God, and some of the more popular, or not, popular is not the word, in some of the more seen, more shows things about cases recently where animals have lived. They've been witnesses to a crime and they've lived. And so a particular interest of mine is, well, how do we kind of tap into that and have animals help us with these cases? And it's hi Tammy, nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. I'm sorry that we were coming near the end, but we're so glad that you're here. Yeah, I was just saying that if you have questions for John, please let me know, because we were going to do a follow-up show. People had questions, and if you're interested in understanding like the criminal mindset about people who do, do things to animals that are not good, I have a real interest in how do we, I've done shows about this and had interviews with like the former DA of the LA County, who got really into that animal advocacy and trying to come up with ways to really make sure people that there's laws about this stuff and how you can't hurt animals and get away with it. So I saw something recently on my like Nextdoor app about somebody's animal who was hurt and didn't live by somebody. They don't know who did it. And people are just like, I hope that you do something. I hope something happens. And like, it doesn't make major news when animals are hurt. Sometimes it does, but it just feels like we need to do more. So, understanding like prevention is important to me. I'm a licensed counselor, and so it's a particular interest of mine to, what can we do to prevent this, especially starting when people are young. And if we see things, behaviors, what do we do? So I've gone way off topic here today, but I just wanted to mention that for questions. So always topic ideas are greatly appreciated. I am crazy busy with all the things I do, and I have to come up with topics for the show. So I really appreciate suggestions for topics. If there's things that just pop up in your head, like, why does my animal do this? Or why do animals do this? Or how do we figure this out? Or how do we help them? Please let me know, because I will take into consideration doing a show about that topic. So, and thank you again so much, Melmac. You are the best. My website is intuitivetouchanimalcare.com, and that links to all my classes. So, all right, well, it's wonderful having everybody here. I don't see any other questions, so I guess I'm going to leave it there. But I look forward to seeing everybody soon and being back in the near future. And in the meantime, check out my library of other shows. So everybody take care and be well and be safe. Oh, yes, we were actually, it's funny you said that, Tammy, because maybe a breed one that explains their behaviors. Yeah, we were just talking about the DNA one and doing a show about the DNA testing. So that kind of links into that. So I'm going to keep that. Yeah, I'm going to think about how I can maybe either do 2 separate shows or link them together. There's a community page. So I put updates there, and I put some things on there. If people go to the community, if you're subscribed here, which you should do, or you won't get notified about the show. Subscribe and hit the little bell, because you'll get an email telling you that there's a show coming up. And then you'll also be able to access the community page, so you'll see things I put on there about classes I'm doing, and I put some things about my own just pets and my life. You could also go to my Facebook page at The Animal Intuitive. You can find that, and I'm on Instagram as well. And I always forget, I should know this. I think it's Angelo Webb, The Animal Intuitive, on Instagram. All right, and I like to connect with people, so please do reach out and be somewhere, wherever you like to go. And you can join my mailing list through my website too. So thank you so much, everybody, and everybody take care. Give your animals a hug and a kiss from me, and God bless.